I'm Coach Daniel, and if you want to sleep amazingly well for the rest of your life, this channel is for you. When you sleep well, you should be happy. I'm very happy for you, but you should not look at it as a victory or a win where you dealt a blow to insomnia, because that will reinforce the narrative that insomnia is a fight and a battle. This is so important because it's only when you abandon the fight that you start sleeping well, and you're on the path towards sleeping well forever. Welcome back. This is Insomnia Insight number 327, in which we're going to borrow a concept from the world of picky eating. As you may have picked up on, I borrow a lot from my wife because she's really into picky eating. She's a pediatrician. And this is one insight that I think is really helpful. So when a child is a picky eater, that what really happens is that parents perceive their child as like not eating enough, and they become concerned. And what parents then do is that they present the child with like more food options, maybe bigger portion sizes, maybe a lot more time to eat, etc. But that backfires, because eating is just like sleeping. We eat well when we're not pressured to eat, when we're relaxed and we can just enjoy food. So when parents pressure their children, the opposite actually happens. The kids eat less. And what you often see happening is that when there's a kind of this outlier moment when the child eats a whole banana, then the parents literally go bananas. They're so happy that they want to reinforce this, that they really take it as a win and celebrate. They go like, that's amazing, well done. You know, they call grandma, he ate a whole banana. The problem with that is the child learns that eating is good and not eating is bad. So the next time they're presented with food, the child feels pressure to eat and actually eats less. So what does this have to do with sleep? A lot it turns out. Before we go there, just very briefly, what is insomnia? Insomnia happens when that part of your brain that wants to keep you safe identifies wakefulness or the lack of sleep as a threat and starts deploying what it always does in the face of a threat: fight or flight, fight or flight reaction. In reality, wakefulness is not a real threat. It's not a grizzly bear. It's a perceived threat. So fight or flight is very problematic. Now, what can happen though is that you have this night where you slept exceptionally well, and it feels like the fighting actually paid off. It feels like a victory. It feels like a win. But we'll see that when you treat it like a win, there are two problems. The first one is that you build pressure. When you sleep well and you go, yes, I did it, I won, I had success, like that, in a kind of confrontational way, then you're reinforcing that narrative that created the trouble sleeping to begin with. You're reinforcing the narrative of wakefulness as the enemy, wakefulness as a threat that you have to defeat and fight. And you build, again, more pressure to sleep. You feel that's even more important to win over this perceived threat. So building more pressure to sleep is a problem when you look at a night of good sleep as a victory. Now, the second one is that it reinforces the idea of sleeplessness or insomnia as a battle, as a fight, that you have to keep fighting, you have to keep, trying, experimenting, finding new weapons, if you will, in your fight against insomnia, which again is very counterproductive, because it's the whole notion that it is a fight that is the reason that you're not sleeping well. So what should you do when you're sleeping really well one night? Should you not be happy about it and play it down? No. You should be super happy. You should be very happy, because it's evidence that there's nothing wrong with you. You can sleep, and you should always keep in mind that the reason you slept well was actually not that you deployed fight or flight. It was that for some reason you did less of that. So you should be super happy without looking at this as a kind of a victory in a fight. So when you sleep well, I'm happy. You should be happy. Everybody should be happy. But when we don't look at it as a win, we do the opposite of building pressure. We reduce the pressure to sleep. We feel we are more likely to sleep well in the future if we don't celebrate it as a win, just being happy. And also, We step away from the narrative of insomnia being a battle. And when you do that, when you abandon the fight, take a step in the opposite direction, that's when magic happens. You start sleeping really, really well. Hope you found this helpful. If you have any comments, then please leave a comment or send a question to questions@thesleepcoachschool.com. If you find everything you need here, I'm super happy for you. If you would like myself in your pocket, as a sleep coach, then please check out BedTyme with a Y on your app store. Look forward to having you back here tomorrow. Until then, take it easy.